All right, 2-point perspective, this time using a specific measurement. So I'm going to show you how to do that. Step 1 is, again, to make sure that I'm keeping my lines perpendicular so everything's lined up. So you're going to need to use your straight edge, or you're going to need to use a combo of 2 squares so that we can keep everything nice and lined up to this. Because if I have that as lined up as my reference point, I put a triangle underneath it just to act as a nice temporary one because I don't want to tape it down right now. I move it over and see how I get my perpendicular line that goes straight up. Now we're going to do a couple things. We have to measure the height, the width, and the depth in this frontal plane, this frontal area here before it goes vanishing back, okay? So we're going to do a couple things. I'm going to look at the measurement and realize that it tells me that there's an overall measurement of 2.5, and it tells me that you come up 0.75 and you come down 1. So I'm going to mark all those heights first, and I'm just going to use my engineering skill to do that. So I'm going to mark first the overall 2.5. Then I'm going to measure down 1, because that's what I'm following my little height here. And then I'm going to measure up 0.75. So I got those 3 heights. Now let's play essentially a game and connect the dots back to your vanishing point. Remember, this is always going to be lightly. None of this will be dark. We go back and darken in at the end. So I'm going back to my vanishing point right, and then I'll do my vanishing point left. I like it better where I can see from this side here. Back to it. That one's off a little. There it goes. That's better. Okay. So there's my heights. Okay, next I want to mark my widths, how wide it is. So I know overall it's 3, and it tells me that then you come back up to the 3 and 1.5. So I'm going to measure at the 3 and the 1.5. Put it on the point, put it on the angle, and mark. There's my 3. There's my 1.5. These are going to stay perpendicular, so those will be the only ones that are going to go straight up and down vertically. Again, I either have this taped down with a straight edge, or I use triangles to act as my temporary straight edge. Okay. And then I'm going to put my depth, same thing. So I know, but looking at the measurement, it says it comes back 2 1/4, and then you're going to measure in 1 1/4. So overall is 2.25, and then I measure back 1.25. Alright, now it doesn't seem like a lot right now, but those are just the lines that I need to be able to draw everything. So I'm going to now kind of make the box that comes through here. Okay, so here's all my measurements, here's everything, and it looks a little weird. So let's start off with a couple things we know. We know in our front view we have a little L here, right? So let's see if we can find that here. So if I come back, that is my L. See how I'm following it back? So let's go ahead and just darken in the L. So I've darkened in this part. So I've done, let's say this is A, B, C, D, just to help us out right now. So I've done A. All right, let's go ahead and get C. I know if I look at C, C is simply just a rectangle, a straight line over. Okay, there's my C. Now here's where it gets fun, the D and the B. How am I going to get those? Well, if I'm looking at it, I notice that it comes back. So it's showing me that there's a little cutout of it here. So I'm going to have to find that little cutout. Now how do I find that little cutout? $1,000,000 question, right? Now I know that cutout, see this line here? I know it's going to go along that line. So I'm going to use that as a point of reference for me, because I know it hits this line here. And then I go, okay, well, okay, I've got that part coming back. Now, how much in does it come? And if I take 1 1/4 from there, it's a 1. So that tells me it's on that 1, right? So that was that 1 inch. So where does that 1 inch come? So we bring that 1 inch over. From here to here is that 1 inch. Where does that hit here? See how those two hit? A lot of what you do in some of these draftings and this kind of stuff is connect the dots. Hits there, and it hits intersection here at the back corner here. So that tells me there's that part. Okay, so I have that part. Now I need to finish it. When I finish it, I should be able to follow this back, and I should follow that line back. From this corner here back to the vanishing point on this side. From this corner here to the vanishing point over here. See how they connect and come together? So I have A, B, D, and B. So they're all there. And if you want to, you can shade to make it stand out a little bit better. So you could pick a side to shade. Let's shade this. So I could come in here and I could shade, okay, I'm going to shade just the surfaces that are going horizontal. You don't have to, but sometimes for students, this makes it a little easier for them to understand. So I'm going to pretend like that. Okay, so then I would do the same thing here. And then here. That's how you draw a two-point perspective doing your measurements. Remember, first you draw the basic line here. You measure your horizontal distance mark, measure them back. You measure your width, mark them, measure them up. Measure your depth, mark them, measure them up. And then everything goes back. And then after that point, it's a matter of starting to connect everything so it goes together. All right, congratulations. Take your time. You can do this.